that inside Jackie Mungai?
Ah, nice. So my name is Jackie Mungai. I'm an actor, professional actor, a student at Nairobi Performing Arts Studios. I have been a set book actor. That's where I started. All along, I've done theater mostly. And I'm trying to venture into film. Yeah.
For how many years, Jackie?
5 years since 2020.
All right.
Yeah.
But how has the journey been like for you? 2020 up until now, have you seen some growth in how the industry is working? How has the growth been like?
There has been growth, especially for someone who has started from set books. As of now, I can say there's much professionalism as compared to set books. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's hear from Bhavnesh. Maybe for somebody who don't know you, is this your first, set of a play that you're going to stage, and how many years have you been acting?
Hi everyone, my name is Bhavnesh. She said it so well, by the way.
Bhavnesh.
Usually people butcher it. I've been an actor for 10 years now. Like her, theater has been my bread and butter. I've done one movie and one series, one TV show, but theater is my love. Yeah.
All right. What's the name of that TV show, just in case, we're saying, huyu ni kama tumemwona mahali.
It's a show on, it's a little show on Showmax. It's called Subterranea.
Wow.
Kenya's first sci-fi.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that to yourself?
It's good to stay humble. It's good to stay humble.
All right. Let's hear from Pauline. How long have you been into acting, and are you also into theater or film? Talk to us about that.
I started off in 2018. I do film, I do theater, I am a voice actor, but theater is my love. Yeah, I love theater, although film also comes along. I do adverts as well. Mostly I do Kikuyu. Okay. Yeah.
Why Kikuyu?
I love my culture and I love Kikuyu. There's something about Kikuyu that is just exciting.
Yeah.
Of course, I do English and Swahili as well, but Kikuyu, my love.
All right. So you say that theater is your love, but in an era where we see a lot of people are just shifting towards, the digital platforms. We see a lot of people want, the internet, say Netflix, say Showmax, say just, normal shows on TV. So do you see theater growing to that level where somebody would leave their house to go to theater and sit down and watch a play being staged live?
Yeah, theater has grown because compared to some years back, people did not know what theater is. But nowadays we have so many theaters around Nairobi, actually. People leave their jobs, leave their homes to go watch shows. And most times it's not just thespians who are watching these shows. Like people unrelated to theater or the arts. They pay and they come to watch and they love the experience because there's a fire when you watch something on stage as compared to screen. Yeah. So
Bhavnesh, would you say that the theater and film theater is way better in this day and age?
It depends on the perspective you're looking at it from. If I'm an editor, I'm going to say film is the better medium because film is an editor's medium. But if I'm a performing artist, I'm going to say theater is the best medium. You don't have your director coming after every scene saying, do it like this, or let's approach it this way. It's all you on that stage. So if you make a mistake, it's all you. If you do it well, it's all you, your cast members, that is it. So theater will always be the better medium for me.
For you as an actor, right?
Yes.
But let's now put ourselves in the shoe of a consumer.
Yeah.
What would you say? Say you're not even acting that play, but now you're just going there to sit down and watch somebody else, stage their play. Would you prefer theater or film? Okay,
so as a viewer, seeing a husband and wife argue on screen is different compared to seeing them argue in real life. When you're sitting in the audience watching them, fight each other, slap each other maybe even, it's more heavy, more interactive, if you will. So for a viewer, I think theater would also be more fun.
All right.
Yeah, they're watching it live, the emotions pull you in more than someone on screen ever could, I think.
So Jackie, would you say that right now as Kenyans, just in general, we are embracing theater as we should? I'm going to I know we're still too reluctant. We're not doing enough as we should to support thespians. What do you think?
I think we are embracing it. Because if we look last year, we've had a lot of plays. I can say that we've had a lot of plays more than films. And you can find that when there's a show, you can hear that it's sold out, meaning a lot of people are embracing the theatre works.
Yeah, theatre works. So let's get into, the discussion this morning. I was talking to you guys just outside there, and just to try and familiarize with what we're talking about today, we're talking about Dedan Kimathi. Tell us what this play is about, Bhavnesh.
It's a play based on the works of the great Ngũgĩ, the trial of Dedan Kimathi. So basically, the name has most of the story in it. Just what our great hero went through after his arrest, how all the court trials were, the games that certain groups of people tried to play. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. But the struggle that our country as a whole went through before independence. It's to show some of the events leading up to that. Yeah.
All right, let's get to that trailer before we continue this conversation, of course, about Dedan Kimathi, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have it?
Unchain my feet! Unchain my soul!
It's interesting. Bhavnesh, once again, so what's your character in this play?
I'm playing a few characters, actually. This is why I love theatre so much. I'm playing a few characters. I'm playing a British soldier called Johnny. All of my characters are the bad guys, actually. So I'm playing Johnny. I'm playing an Indian banker, Deepak. He's really funny. And I'm playing a lawyer as well. Yeah.
So how do they relate to, the life of Dedan Kimathi and all, as it narrows down to the trial of Dedan?
So the lawyer, of course, he's supposed to be one of the ones that were supposed to represent Mr. Kimathi. And then the Indian banker was, you know what? I'm going to get you a ticket after this. So I don't want to say too much about all the characters, but there's an Indian banker also who tries to convince Dedan in prison that, surrender and all that nonsense.
You have to give us the bits of it so that we can be convinced, to kwena ile haja to come and watch this play.
Without giving the spoiler.
You have such a beautiful cast.
They come. We have to know what we're coming to watch at the end of the day. So anyway, Pauline, what is your character and your role in this play?
I play Muthaniwa Kirima. That was Dedan Kimathi's forest wife and like a Mau Mau secretary. So jolting down every single thing that happened during the Mau Mau. And funny thing is that actually Muthaniwa Kirima was beaten almost to death because she was termed as an informant for the Mau Mau. So she spent like 2 weeks in the forest alone looking for the Mau Mau. So it's a very interesting role. Yeah.
So what don't people know actually about this Muthoniwa Kirima? Just looking at Dedan Kimathi's life in general and how you bring the role out, on stage. What don't we know that you would say that, Kenyans this part is often left out when you're talking about Dedan Kimathi, that it's actually so important in his life as well.
It is important to note that Dedan Kimathi, who led the Mau Mau, was not fighting for a specific tribe. It was not just Kikuyu. As much as he's a Kikuyu, they were speaking Kikuyu, and Mau Mau is from central Kenya, but it was for the entire country. So they were fighting for freedom, not for central Kenya, but for the entire country. And such to a point that the Mau Mau were reaching to other regions in Kenya to unite and fight the colonialists. Yeah.
So is this play in Kikuyu as well?
Yes, we are doing it in English and Kikuyu. There's some shows in English, there's some shows in Kikuyu.
The ones in Kikuyu, are they translated to English? Or?
It is the same thing, but now in Kikuyu. Of course, for the Kikuyu shows, you'll have to be Kikuyu to watch it, to understand, because it's every bit, well, except for the whites.
So they are you have several plays, but there's some in Kikuyu and there's some in English.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Jackie, what is your role in this play?
I play the role of Girl. She's called Girl. She's a representation of the future. Yeah. In this context, I believe that as Ngũgĩ was writing this play, because there's a role called woman, boy, and now girl. So I believe woman represented the present, then boy and girl represent the future, and then now Dedan represents the past. So my role is to show the audience how the future is going to also be part of fighting for the country. Yeah.
Do you see that being embodied in this day and age? How, we are, the way things are politically, socially, do you see that being embodied in Kenya?
Yes. We have the Gen Zs. Yeah, so like in trial, we are the Gen Zs.
All right.
Yeah.
Pauline, you wanted to say something about that?
Yeah, it's actually a coincidence, a good coincidence actually, that we are staging the trial of Dedan Kimathi, talking about freedom, we want our rights, this is what ought to be done, and it's June. With whatever is happening, even whatever happened yesterday, fighting for freedom, it actually relates so much, and given the fact that it was written years ago, it relates so perfectly to the current day.
All right, so Bhavnesh, when you heard about Dedan Kimathi and you told, we are going to give you a role in this particular play, how did you prepare yourself and how did that sit with you?
Excitement, first of all. I was super excited. Not only to do one of Ngũgĩ's works, but to work with such a fantastic cast, the crew also, they're amazing. The way I prepared was, I did a lot of research on British soldiers in Nairobi in Kenya actually, during the colonial times, during the 50s, during the 40s, how they would behave with our people here, and most of the negative stuff, because that's what I'm gonna portray, and that's how I prepared. Yeah.
All right, Jackie, how about you? When you're told you're going to play girl, you're going to represent the future generation. How did that sit with you?
So with Girl, she's a half caste of Maasai and Kikuyu. Her mother is Maasai, her father is Kikuyu. So I had to, I'm not a Maasai, so I had to learn some words, Maasai words. Also, I had to dig deep into the Kikuyu language, because as much as I can speak Kikuyu, I wasn't born in a timeline where at our home we speak Kikuyu that deeply, so I had to do some research about that. Also, I had to go back and watch most of YouTube videos about Dedan, so that I can understand and feel what is supposed to be felt when I'm performing. Yeah, so a lot of research and learning and inquiring. Yeah.
So, Pauline, the Muthomi wa Kirema that you play, is that who you are in real life? How do you, how do you relate to Muthoni and Pauline? How do they relate?
I love that she's resilient, the fact that she was beaten and survived in the forest alone. I love that she was the only woman field marshal at that time. I relate to her because I'm also I'm out there. I fight for what I believe is right. I love her courage. So like that's something I've borrowed from that character, the courage, and most importantly, like just being associated with Dedan Kimathi. Hey, that is just so big. Like it's being associated with someone who fought for our freedom. Yeah, that is. Amazing.
Yeah. All right. So, Bhavnesh, you play bad boy. You see some of your characters there. You know, the bad guy. Are you a bad guy in real life?
No. I'm very good actually. I'm a very nice person. I'm home. I'm in bed by 9 p.m. I have a strict bedtime, a strict routine. I'm a very nice person. I don't abuse or anything. You know, I'm very down to earth also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did it take for you to prepare yourself just to immerse, to get yourself out of Bhavnesh and now get into this Indian bunker, the soldier that you're playing? How did you prepare?
For the soldier specifically, I had to work on my accent because, he's British, right? So he'll be speaking in a different way than
like
how I'll be speaking. So I had to prepare like that. And then for the Indian, it was, for me, of course, it was very easy to prepare for the Indian guy. Because myself also, might have noticed.
Yeah.
It was more of accent play for me, learning the connotations of how each of them speak. And then in the history side of it, again, just the British had a very strong presence over here in terms of how their behavior was and everything, which was very easy for me to get.
All right. So what is the most fun thing or surprising thing for you, Jackie, as girl, playing in this particular, not just as girl as well, but as Jackie, the most surprising and, challenging times doing this play?
So Jackie loves watching dystopian movies, fighting movies. And in this trial of Dedan Kimathi, I'm having a fight scene. And learning stunt has been the most fun thing. And it always excites me and makes me always, especially when I know that today we are rehearsing my fight scene. Oh, I'm always early. Yeah.
You love to fight?
I love stunts. Stunts.
You love stunts. So are you fighting to win or fighting to show stunts?
Fighting to win, obviously.
Does she win eventually?
Well, come and watch the show to know if I'll win or not.
We should follow along.
Yes.
All right. So how do you show Pauline that, you don't just retell the history of Dedan Kimathi, but even as you stage this play there, whoever is sitting is actually just, and live that moment. He or she is living that moment and not just telling us what we've always heard about, what we've read in books, but you're telling us something that we will look at and say, wow, this is real life.
Well, borrowing from what Bhavnesh said, when you're watching something in theater, you borrow the emotions that are portrayed on stage. And that is one of the things that Stuart Nash, the director, has been able to achieve, such that the audience watching the trial of Dedan Kimathi, it will not look like something that happened in the 1950s. It'll look like something that happened yesterday in town or last year in June during Maandamano, because it relates so perfectly to what is happening now. If you listen to, there's a trailer that has Ngũgĩ words in it, and he speaks from the trial of Dedan Kimathi, but it sounds like it's happening now. So there's so much, it relates so perfectly to right now. People are not gonna think it happened in the 1950s. You're gonna live knowing it's now.
Is there anything you're tweaking in the play? What happened, the history and the now, Dedan Kimathi's trial, anything you're tweaking to make it look, kitu mnaongeza ama mnatoa?
With the help of Ngũgĩ, because before his death, he was working very closely with the director. They were able to discuss what should be there, what should not be there, but I can't say what.
All right. Yeah. So is this like maybe a tribute to Ngũgĩ now that you've also mentioned that he was part of directing and all that? Is this a tribute to him? And after he died, now what changes occurred in regards to preparing for this play?
First of all, yes, for sure it's a tribute to him. The news of his passing had shocked everyone that day. We remember how we all reacted to it when we heard about it. He had even prepared and sent us a video for the cast talking to us, so that was really sweet. What it did was it gave us even more motivation to tell this story the right way, to, with full honesty, portray our characters, each and every one of them, and just do justice to this timeless story that is the trial of Dedan Kimathi.
All right, so as we wind up, let's talk.
Do justice to this timeless story that is the trial of Dedan Kimathi.
All right, so as we wind up, let's talk about the tickets and the show that you have. Jackie, I'll throw that to you.
So the show will be performed from the 19th of this month, June, to the 29th of June. The tickets are 1,500 advance tickets. Then we have at the gate, that's 2,000 shillings. Then our director, producer Stuart Nash included something new called the Gen Z ticket. That's 1,000 shillings. And if you want to get the ticket, just go to Kenya Buzz Tickets. You'll find them there. View tickets and on tikiti.com. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I think that's perfectly summarized.
Yeah.
And of course, wishing you guys a wonderful show.
Thank
you so much for making time and talking to us about, just storytelling in action, theatre in general. Yeah. So we are taking a very short break at this point. It's a Feel Good Friday, so stay tuned for great hits with DJ Granite.
Our world is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's minds. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth, as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the symptoms tomorrow. By the time you pick it or the time it is manifesting in you, probably will be there about 5 to 10 years.
The eye is the window to the rest of the body.
Don't forget to stay hydrated.
And of course, you at home do take your water.
So the ultimate test is actually you check your urine. Your urine should be clear.
Clear like the water?
Yes. Should be able to see the other side of the urine. If your urine is colored or has changed color, you cannot see the other side, then you have not taken enough water.
Don't forget regular health checkups. Early detection saves lives.
I want the message be, we can prevent cervical cancer. We prevent cervical cancer in several ways. You have young girls and even somebody who's above that age, you can pay at least every 3 years. Somebody should have a pap smear done.
If you are 40, 45, 50, going upwards, once a year. please go see a doctor. Yeah, it's just for normal routine maintenance.